Hey everybody, it's Gavin Roger here from Gcroutdoors, and this is the official Gcroutdoors podcast. In episode 2, we're going to be talking about how I have been able to financially support my bass fishing tournaments, as well as how I got sponsored, how do I fish and afford tournaments, how to get into the sport of bass fishing when being a young angler, and that's really it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So starting off, I have fished in last year. I fished 15 tournaments bass fishing from, I think it was June to October. I fished 15 tournaments in that time. That's a busy tournament, and it was a busy schedule, and it took over everything. It was literally all I did for the whole summer. I did bass fishing and worked. I do have a job. I worked a part-time job for Aubuchon Hardware, and that was not what funded everything. So that was not actually. I didn't use much money from my actual job to support my bass fishing, like tournament fees and stuff like that. So what I did was I used my Gcroutdoors as a brand and a stepping stool to, one, get sponsored, two, sell merchandise and make money, and three, AdSense on like TikTok is what I made most of my money off of, like views and stuff. The Creator Fund. I shouldn't say AdSense because that's YouTube, but the Creator Fund. So the way the Creator Fund paid for, I think, T-shirts. So back in the late 2021, actually no, early 2022, in the wintertime still, I had enough money from my TikTok Creator Fund from videos I had made to buy T-shirts. So my overall budget, I think, for the year was like $600 to fish the complete series of Chittenden County if I was fishing the whole series. Plus, I did a Major League Fishing BFL, and I did the Bass Federation, and I did Vermont Bass Nation Open Team Tournament as a boater, and I fished, I think, the LCI Fishing Derby, which was paid for by my dad, so I guess that doesn't really count. But, so, fishing in Chittenden County, I had to raise like $1,000. Okay, I had to raise about $1,000 to compete in every single tournament, plus have money for gas, plus have money for traveling, plus have money for tackle and gear and stuff like that. Luckily, I am friends with somebody who was able to support me and give me a bunch of not old, but used rods, and I am so thankful for that. That really helped me out, and it was a big part of paying for everything was actually getting those rods and the reels I paid for myself with money. I think they were birthday presents, I think. So, paying for the actual tournament fees. I had money from Gcroutdoors TikTok, which has 25,000 followers, I believe now. So, an ice fishing video I made had like, I think it was like almost 3 million views, and that gave me, I think, somewhere around $50, plus a bunch of other videos, which bumped me up to 100, plus videos from previous years, and not videos from previous years, but lives, like live streaming on TikTok. I had about $200 on there, and I used that to buy T-shirts for Gcroutdoors. I made Gcroutdoors T-shirts. Plus, I actually had money still saved from when I had previously made Gcroutdoors hats from their previous years, and those hats were given to me by my dad, and I sold them, and I made a decent profit. Eventually, I just put all that money back into Gcroutdoors, and I made I made T-shirts. So I sold those T-shirts, made more money for 2022, and at the time I was still so below like the budget I needed. A lot of the money I had made previously I spent on fishing gear, which is obviously extremely important for like tackle and stuff, but that's like cuz tackle is expensive. It is extremely expensive, and being a kid in the sport of bass fishing it is really hard to get the stuff like you need because of how expensive it is. And fishing tournaments, you use so much tackle and you use so much rods, you put so much wear and tear on everything that it breaks. So being able to pay for everything that I needed was a big challenge. So I worked on getting sponsors. So after selling all those like all the merch, t-shirts, hats over like the last 2 years, I had a decent following on Instagram. I was known around like Vermont. I'm known around Vermont from just like locals, friends, family, and fishermen in like Facebook and stuff. Plus, my dad he's pretty popular on like the Facebook and stuff for RCs. So I was able to really boost myself. I don't want to say off of like that off my dad, but he definitely helped out a lot as far as the like getting my first few followers, and then my family, and then the Facebook, and now I feel like I'm known more just because like I joined the Chittenden County Bass Club, and I know more anglers. I've met a lot of people through these tournaments, so I had a decent amount of following and a decent amount of following and an influence from GC Outdoors. So I was looking for sponsors at the time. So it's not easy to get sponsored as a co-angler. So if I had to explain it, like, how would you go about it? If you wanted to get sponsored, it's really hard as a co-angler. The way I'm doing it now in 2023, I'm getting a fishing jersey, and I am gonna like go around and like if this is like there's different placements on the jersey, so each spot on the jersey is like gonna cost a certain amount of money, as well as you don't want to be picky with your sponsors. So even if a sponsor is able to like give you a discount on stuff or is able to give you free product, that is a huge deal. So you just like getting sponsors isn't just getting money. So but the way I got money, I was sponsored by Backcountry Sports in 2022. So the way I got the sponsor from Backcountry Sports, I really don't want to share too much of it, but for this podcast, I feel like it's fair for me to do so on, getting sponsored. Just getting sponsored in general, I don't want to talk too much about that. I have always been a customer of Backcountry Sports, and because of the brand GC Outdoors, I was able to promote their store a lot. And like I was saying, I have that influence and I have that following now where I was able to get him more business. We'll see for 2023 how things go for like sponsor wise and stuff like that. But no, it was an amazing experience. Chad helped me out, and he gave me a sponsor. So during that time, I would say the main contributors to him like deciding to sponsor would be, one, I knew him just because of like the whole scene and the bass fishing and all that, and he knew who I was. He went to high school, I think, with my dad. Plus, he knew my family because we've always shopped at Backcountry Sports. Amazing store, best deals around, guys. Check them out for sure. They are located in St. Albans, Vermont, and Sheldon Road, I believe. I wish I could remember the address. I'll pull it up. It's in you guys can go right to their website, their online gun store, as well as you can see their address. It's right in the description of my Instagram, so you guys can see it. You can click right on it. It'll bring you right to the website. And but moving on from that, how did I get sponsored? I would say I wrote an email, made a phone call, and I went and talked to him in person, and we talked about what he's going to be able to do for me, how he's going to be able to help me out, and it really helped. It really helped me exceed my goals in 2023 and winning Angler of the Year in the Chittenden County Bass Club. And I actually won that. I won that whole club in 2022. So, 2023, let's go. We're going to do it again. You already know. As far as raising the money as a young angler, if you guys are kids and you want to get into bass fishing, don't think that you need a fancy bass boat. Don't even think you need a boat, okay? Because chances are you can fish as a co-angler, and co-angling is kind of a big deal. And it's not a small thing because being a co-angler, it goes all the way up to some of the biggest tournaments in the country and in the world. There are co-anglers that compete. Obviously, every co-angler's goal is to eventually fish as a boater, unless like you are like just like to be a co-angler, I guess. But most co-anglers I've met are still trying to get a boat and want to get a boat eventually. So, being a young angler, I would say I've learned a lot, and I've learned that people with experience don't necessarily mean they're amazing fishermen, but they definitely have things they can teach you, and a lot of people I've met, I've learned something every time from that person. So, you know, keep an open mind, especially fishing as a co-angler, because you're gonna learn so much more if you're paying attention to what they're doing. Like, it could be as simple as seeing what bait they have, and just like figuring it out how they're fishing or what you're fishing, and it's a really awesome experience, as well as like the courtesy of it all and being a co-angler. If you're a young kid, or just a kid trying to get into, or even anyone trying to get into bass fishing as a co-angler, you'll notice that there's some courtesy rules you want to follow, as well as like, don't cast up in front of the boat. You want to tip your boater based on gas and stuff like that, and but it's not all that hard. I wish that it was easier for kids to get into the sport of bass fishing, but it's not. It really isn't. So the way I would say you get into it is look for a local club, look for a local series, and, just sign up and fish. That's really the only thing you can do. If you are having trouble finding a club that accepts kids, look in your high school, see if they have a bass fishing team. Yes, I'm actually a senior this year. It was my last year fishing in the Milton bass fishing sports team is what they called it. Yeah, the Milton bass fishing sports team, and it was a really fun experience. They do big tournaments for all high schools all over Vermont, and I know that's in other places, so that's a really good way to actually get into the sport of bass fishing, seeing what a tournament's like. And it's basically like fishing a co-angler, the tournaments I was in. I mean, you kind of just go along with, you have a captain and they drive you around, but it's up to you, like, how you fish. But it's always up to you how you fish. So keep that in mind. I would say getting into it it's easier than people think. It shouldn't cost as much money as people think, but it unfortunately, it is expensive, but there's ways to get into it, even if you don't have a lot of money. And I wish more people would get into it, and I wish the best for all of you who are trying to get into it. And for getting sponsors and stuff like that, think local first, and then if that doesn't work, you can message companies, try to find smaller companies. If you're a smaller, you've been into bass fishing for a while and now you're trying to find sponsors, look for smaller businesses. If you're a big bass fisherman who's been fishing for a long time, you got your own bass boat and all that, then you would probably want to look into more of a bigger company and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I have gotten to where I am as far as like financially. I have just through social media and GCR Outdoors. GCR Outdoors is just like a big brand and a big stepping stone to help promote myself, but as well as promote other companies that want to sponsor me. So I would definitely say, if you want to be a bass fisherman, or you're a young guy, and you just want to get into it and you don't have the money for it, you don't have a full-time job, you're still in school, start a social media page, start, grinding. Like, that's the only way to do it, in my opinion. That's the only way to get into the sport without spending a ton of money, like your own money, is have a social media page, because tournament fees are expensive. Some details for 2023 for you guys. I'm fishing the Major League Fishing. I already went over this. I'm fishing the BFL, which is $550. It's $550 to fish the whole Major League Fishing BFL Northeast Division. Okay, that's not even if you qualify. If you qualify, it's even more money to fish like the next tournament and move on and all that. But $550 for that. It's $500 for the Major League Fishing Toyota Series. That's one 3-day tournament. At least it's 5 tournaments for the BFL, and that's $550. So there's $1,050 right there, plus your membership. That brings it up to $1,100, or that brings it up to $1,100 plus. The Chittenden County Bass Club is $100 club fee, which brings it again up to $1,200. Plus, I think it was like $40 per tournament minus the open tournaments. There's another, I think it's $200. I think. So yeah, there it brings it up to like 1,500. With Chittenden County, yeah, that brings it up to 1,500 plus. The farthest away tournament for the Major League Fishing BFL is in Maryland, so traveling is expensive. That brings it up, let's just say, like with hotels and maybe $300, $200. I don't even know. Then moving on to tackle, there's another $200, $300. You can really spend on what you want, depends on what you have as well. But there's even more money, plus the TBF. That's going to be another $100. So my overall goal is going to be around $2,000. $2,000 after race. So my goal overall is to not spend any of my working money on tournament fees or traveling. So we'll see how that goes. But I think it's going to work pretty well. I had a decent amount of money from last year, my winnings of Angler of the Year. I saved them all, and now I'm saving them for the BFL and the Toyota Series. So getting into it will be a fun experience. I'm super excited for 2023. And thank you for everyone who's bought the merch. And if you're interested in the merch, all you gotta do is DM me on Instagram or email me or personal message me on Facebook. And you guys can buy a GCRoutdoors sweatshirt, or I think I have two double XL t-shirts left. So if you guys are interested, let me know. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, as well as get into the sport of bass fishing. I hope you guys like it. Hope you guys like what I'm doing in this podcast as well. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, or thank you guys for listening. I'll see y'all later.